Antarctica, the coldest continent on the planet. A frozen mystery. An ice throne where life bows before the pure force of nature. A vast piece of the world, located at the southernmost tip of the planet, stretching over more than 4 million square miles, where silence reigns and the wind sings ancient songs. A territory larger than Europe, a place where time seems to sleep beneath eternal white blankets, guarding secrets no man has dared to fully uncover. Here, grandeur imposes itself in every detail. It is home to the largest animal that ever lived on Earth, wrapped in the most intense cold, the harshest winds, and extreme dryness. Amid this frozen vastness lies the largest freshwater reserve on the planet, preserved in layers of eternal ice, more abundant here than anywhere else in the world. Surrounded by the icy seas of the Southern Ocean, it is the most remote and isolated region on Earth, a place where the cold is so intense that even your breath seems to freeze in the air. On this continent, there are no trees, no cities, no sounds other than the biting wind echoing over an endless white desert. A sacred sanctuary, still untouched by the hands of human ambition, where the Earth itself breathes in its oldest and most vital rhythm. Many call this frozen realm the planet's white lung, not for the air we breathe, but for the silent balance that sustains life in distant places, as in an invisible link few truly understand. Contrary to what many think, this territory does not belong to any country. It is protected by international agreements, shielded against greed and destruction. Here there is no king, president, or any sovereign authority. The rules are dictated by nature, and with brutal and relentless force. In Antarctica, the sun can disappear for months, and darkness takes over, as if time has stopped. Even under brutal conditions, life insists on existing and, more than that, thrives in its own way. Species adapted to the impossible, creatures that seem from another planet, show that nature is a surprising warrior in every detail. Here live microscopic beings that float by the thousands in the icy waters, like phytoplankton. These, in turn, feed krill, small crustaceans that reproduce by the billions and support a colossal food chain. Living clouds of krill attract magnificent creatures, like giant whales that glide through the cold waters in search of food. Among the endless ice fields, penguins slide with impressive agility, diving into the frigid waters with a skill that defies extreme conditions. On the frozen platforms, seals drag themselves with slow movements, starring scenes that mix tenderness and resilience. In the vast oceans surrounding the continent, humpback whales dance in elegant dives, while the immense blue whale, the largest living being that ever inhabited Earth, glides with silent majesty. Above all this, bold birds cut through the skies, riding air currents that blow over the white expanse in an endless search for food and survival. Despite the extreme temperatures, well below freezing, every living being has developed unique adaptations to survive and reproduce in this harsh environment, where few dare to live. More than 9,000 species of organisms have been recorded in this frozen ecosystem. Among the species, 46 are birds, such as the famous penguins and albatrosses. In the mammal group, 23 species stand out, like seals and whales. The greatest diversity, however, is among marine invertebrates, totaling more than 7,000 species, including krill, starfish, and mollusks. There are also about 300 types of algae and 100 species of lichens. as well as a variety of bacteria and fungi that ensure survival in the most inhospitable corners of the continent. This is a small number compared to other natural sanctuaries. In Africa, for example, the cradle of wildlife in its most grand and diverse form, there are more than 100,000 animal species, including mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and invertebrates. Considering that the total number of animal species on the planet is estimated at 7 to 8 million, those in Antarctica represent a tiny fraction, about 0.1% of the world's biodiversity. But this does not diminish its importance to global biodiversity, as the beings that inhabit this frozen world are unique and survive where some creatures wouldn't last even a day. Beneath miles of ancient ice, Antarctica holds the oldest secrets of the planet, traces of a forgotten geological past that even predates the dinosaurs. Each frozen layer is like a page from a book written by the Earth itself. Today, we will turn these pages, explore the mysteries hidden beneath the ice, reveal the secret records of ancient climate, and understand how this frozen mass directly influences life in every corner of the globe. On this side of the world, there are no permanent populations, only groups of scientists seeking answers about the planet's most enigmatic environment. Antarctica is a true natural laboratory, and those who study it are, in fact, studying the entire Earth. To understand Antarctica, we need to travel back in time, millions of years, and learn about its geological past, when it was part of a supercontinent called Gondwana. About 180 million years ago, during the Jurassic period, Gondwana began to break apart, starting the formation of Antarctica. At first, it was connected to South America, Africa, India, Australia, and New Zealand, and had a temperate climate, covered by dense forests and teeming with life, including dinosaurs. This was possible because the continent was located at more northern latitudes. Over millions of years, tectonic plate movements slowly pushed Antarctica toward the South Pole. Between 30 and 40 million years ago, near the end of the Eocene epoch, it completely separated from the other continents. This isolation allowed the formation of the Antarctic circumpolar current, which blocked heat from reaching the continent and began its freezing process, transforming a lush forest into a vast ice desert. For a long time, Antarctica remained unexplored and without records of human habitation, although there are signs that peoples from Tierra del Fuego and Polynesia may have reached the region in the 7th century. The first official documentation occurred on February 19, when English navigator William Smith, during a voyage between Argentina and Chile, sailed further south and discovered the South Shetland Islands. After reporting his discovery to the British Royal Navy, an expedition was sent in 1820, led by Captain Edward Bransfield. He landed on King George Island, claimed it for the British Crown, and continued exploring the northern Antarctic continent, starting the era of human exploration in the region. Despite being a harsh environment, Antarctica plays a crucial role in Earth's climate balance, often called the planet's frozen lung. With its enormous ice sheet, which accounts for 90% of all the Earth's ice, it contains about 70% of the world's fresh water. If this ice sheet melted, sea levels would rise by 190 feet, flooding coastal cities and causing climate disasters like droughts and heat waves. Additionally, it could release ancient viruses and bacteria, posing new risks to human health. Antarctica is the driest region on the planet, with an annual precipitation of only 6 to 8 inches of rain. Its surface is covered by ice 98% of the time, with the remaining 2% consisting of some rocky areas. In summer, temperatures can reach near 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but in winter they drop to negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, with violent winds that can exceed 186 miles per hour. Antarctica also holds the record for the lowest temperature ever recorded, 6 degrees Fahrenheit, at the continent's interior, specifically at Vostok Station, on July 21, Itenjobai with an average elevation of 200 feet. It is the highest continent in the world. Its dry valleys are among the most arid places on Earth, and the ice there has accumulated over millions of years. Windstorms, comparable in strength to hurricanes, constantly shape the continent, creating a landscape in continuous change, where the terrain is carved and reshaped by nature's relentless force. Antarctica is in constant transformation. The power of the winds, the movement of the ice, and extreme temperature variations reshape its landscape daily. New forms emerge with storms, icebergs break off, and cracks open, turning the continent into a living scene, continuously molded by the wild nature. Icebergs are an impressive phenomenon of this land of extremes. They are giants of ice formed over centuries. Snow that falls continuously accumulates, compacts, and transforms into dense ice, creating platforms that slowly move toward the sea. When they reach the ocean, pieces of these platforms break off, forming icebergs. This process, called calving, results in floating mountains that drift across the ocean for months or even years, carrying centuries of frozen history with them. Beneath the Antarctic ice lies a geological ground made up of rocks and permafrost frozen soil that preserves sediments and organic fragments. However, permafrost is a ticking time bomb, as it stores large amounts of carbon dioxide, a harmful greenhouse gas. With global warming, the permafrost is beginning to thaw, releasing gases trapped for millennia. This process is accelerated by human actions like deforestation and pollution, creating a vicious cycle where increased CO2 in the atmosphere speeds up melting, releasing even more gases. Antarctica, though untouched, is being deeply affected by human choices made in distant places that impact the entire planet. Preserving a single location is not enough, as the entire Earth functions as an interconnected system. The destruction of ecosystems like the Amazon releases large amounts of carbon, intensifying global warming and accelerating ice melt in Antarctica. The environmental impact of human actions crosses borders, affecting the global climate balance, raising sea levels, and intensifying extreme events. Saving forests, oceans, and ecosystems is an urgent necessity to ensure the planet's stability. Antarctica is a unique region that belongs to no country, protected by international treaties that guarantee its preservation for scientific purposes. In 1959, during the Cold War, the Antarctic Treaty was signed by several nations, banning military activities and resource exploitation, turning the continent into a zone of peace and research. In 1991, the Madrid Protocol expanded protection by prohibiting mineral exploration for 50 years. Currently, about 70 research stations from around 30 countries study climate, biodiversity, and geology under extreme conditions. Antarctica, beyond its eternal ice, plays an essential role in global climate balance by reflecting solar radiation and preserving climate records in its ice. By studying its layers, scientists discover data about past atmospheric composition and climate changes. Additionally, the continent hosts unique biodiversity and surreal landscapes. like the Southern Lights aurora australis, dazzling phenomena caused by the interaction between solar wind and Earth's magnetic field. These light shows, both in the Arctic and Antarctica, remind us that even in the harshest places, nature finds ways to shine. Here, at the end of the world, the midnight sun and polar night create a cycle of endless light and darkness. During summer, the sun never sets, shining 24 hours a day. In winter, darkness takes over, creating a veil of absolute silence that lasts for months, making this continent one of the most extreme on the planet. In this seemingly inhospitable environment lives one of the most unique faunas on Earth. But survival here is not for just anyone. It's for the specialists, the adapted, the resilient. Antarctic wildlife is an extreme example of endurance. And although the continent itself has few land species like small insects, lichens, and mosses, the real spectacle happens in the ocean. The icy waters around Antarctica are incredibly rich in nutrients, supporting a complex and abundant food web with some of the highest concentrations of marine life on the planet. Although life in Antarctica is limited and adapted to extreme conditions, this does not diminish its vital importance to global biodiversity. The creatures inhabiting this frozen continent are truly unique, possessing surprising adaptations. The endurance and resilience of these species reveal an ecosystem capable of pushing the boundaries of life, maintaining its balance in an environment where cold, darkness, and solitude dominate every living being in Antarctica. It plays a crucial role, and its existence contributes to a broader understanding of biodiversity. At the base of the Antarctic ecosystem are plankton and krill. Phytoplankton produce oxygen and serve as food for Antarctic krill, a small but essential crustacean that feeds whales, seals, penguins, and seabirds. Krill forms huge swarms and is considered the pillar of the Antarctic Ocean's food chain. Moreover, both help combat global warming. Plankton captures CO2 from the atmosphere, and krill contribute to carbon sequestration. Among the key players in this scenario are penguins, the kings of the ice. Alongside them, other animals dominate this environment, like the Antarctic seals, among which the leopard seal stands out. An agile and feared predator with a powerful jaw and a voracious appetite for penguins and fish. We also find the Weddell seal, one of the few that stays year-round in Antarctica, capable of diving to extreme depths in search of food. Also the crab-eater seal, and the most numerous on the planet, feeding mainly on krill in the oceans, at the top of the marine food chain. Whales are true titans. During the summer, species like the blue whale, the humpback, mink, and southern right whale migrate here to feed. In the abundant cold waters, in a display of strength, elegance, and strategy, here also navigate the orcas, which, although often mistaken for whales, are actually the largest members of the dolphin family in the air. The Antarctic sky is crossed by hardy birds like the giant petrel, eggs and penguin chicks, and the impressive albatrosses, which can spend months gliding over the oceans without ever landing. Each animal here plays a vital role in a precise ecological machine, and although the environment seems hostile, it is incredibly balanced. This specialized fauna keeps Antarctica alive, not as a white, silent desert, but as a vibrant, dynamic, and interdependent system. Antarctica is indeed a brutal place, but it is also a wild, beautiful, and relentless home where each species is a masterpiece of adaptation and survival. Let's get to know each of these species and discover their unique adaptations that allow them to survive in the planet's harshest environment. In the vast, white, and brutal expanse of Antarctica, where few living beings withstand the biting cold and violent winds, a group of charismatic birds reigns supreme over the ice, the penguins. They not only survive in this extreme environment, they thrive. With their clumsy walk, agile dives, and fascinating social behavior, penguins are true ambassadors of polar wildlife. Of the 18 penguin species on the planet, only 6 live and breed in Antarctica and its sub-Antarctic islands. They are Gentoo, Macaroni, Chinstrap, Emperor, King, and Adelie. Penguins are creatures that defy the forces of cold with impressive endurance, enduring temperatures that can drop to as low as -76 degrees Fahrenheit. They face biting winds and landscapes eternally covered in ice. The secret to this extreme survival lies in their dense layer of feathers. Unlike most birds, their feathers are small, overlapping, and oily, creating an impenetrable barrier against the icy wind and cold water. This outer protection prevents heat loss, keeping them warm even amid the ice. Over the skin, a thick layer of fat, called blubber, acts as a natural insulator, retaining heat in their bodies and allowing them to navigate freezing waters without losing vitality. The secret to survival, however, is not only in physical adaptation, but also in cooperation. In harsh winters, when the cold becomes almost unbearable, emperor penguins gather in large groups. Forming a compact mass to conserve heat, they huddle, switch places, and ensure that everyone, without exception, stays warm. This behavior, called huddling, is the key to collective survival. While individuals in the center of the group warm up, those more exposed to the cold take turns, making unity their greatest strength. Besides that, penguins have a circulatory system. Incredibly adapted to the cold, their blood vessels located in their feet and flippers are specially arranged to conserve heat. The warm blood from the body heats the cold blood returning from the extremities, a mechanism known as countercurrent heat exchange, fundamental to preventing hypothermia and keeping their bodies fully functional in icy waters. These incredible adaptations that allow penguins to thrive in the harshest conditions make them symbols of nature's resilience. Among them stands out the emperor penguin, the largest and toughest of all, which dares to breed during the Antarctic winter, facing freezing temperatures and winds that can exceed 62 miles per hour. This grand species can reach up to 3 and 9 feet tall and weigh over 88 pounds. A true fortress of feathers and fat, adapted to extreme cold. Very similar to it is the king penguin, which has more vibrant colors and is the second largest penguin, able to reach up to 37 inches tall and weigh up to 35 pounds. Emperor penguins are not only the largest among all penguin species, they are also the boldest. These extraordinary birds face the extreme cold and treacherous Antarctic seas to perform incredible feats. They can dive to an impressive 800 feet deep in the icy Antarctic Ocean in search of their favorite prey, fish and squid. It is the only species that breeds in the Antarctic winter, facing temperatures as low as -76 degrees Fahrenheit, while the males protect the eggs by balancing them on their feet over a skin pouch. For entire months without eating, when most animals flee the cold, the emperor penguin walks up to 62 miles over the ice to reach breeding colonies. There the male and female meet among thousands of individuals, and after mating the female lays a single egg, which becomes the center of one of nature's greatest challenges after laying the egg. The female carefully transfers it to the male's feet, who protects it with a fold of skin, called the brood pouch, keeping it warm and away from direct contact with the ice. Then the female returns to the sea to feed, leaving the male completely responsible for incubating the egg. For about 2 months, he faces the harsh winter without eating, enduring freezing storms and winds over 62 miles per hour. While the embryo develops, the males huddle in circular formations, rotating positions to conserve heat. Like a true brotherhood against the White Death, when the chick finally hatches, the female returns. Guided by instinct and the partner's call, she regurgitates food for the chick, while the male, exhausted and with energy reserves at their limit, can finally return to the sea to feed. This parental shift continues during the chick's first months of life until it grows strong enough to withstand the harsh conditions and become part of the next generation of polar survivors. Emperor penguin reproduction is not just a battle against the climate. It is a spectacle of endurance, sacrifice, and cooperation, proving that even in the harshest regions on Earth, life finds a way to thrive with its vibrant yellow crest that looks like a punk hairstyle on the ice. The macaroni penguin is undoubtedly one of the most extravagant in the penguin family. Its curious name comes from the 18th century, when the British used the term macaroni to describe people who dressed eccentrically, a perfect reference for this uniquely looking penguin. It is one of the most numerous penguin species in the world, with over 11 million breeding pairs. It measures about 27 inches and weighs up to 11 pounds, inhabits subantarctic islands and rocky coasts where it faces extreme weather conditions. An excellent diver, it feeds on krill, fish, and squid. During breeding, it lays 2 eggs, but usually raises only 1 chick, with its black band crossing the chin, as if wearing an elegant beard. The chinstrap penguin, also known as the white-faced penguin, is one of the most charismatic and recognizable species in Antarctica. It lives mainly in coastal regions of the Antarctic Peninsula and several nearby islands, such as King George Island, the South Shetland Islands, and the South Sandwich Islands. This penguin dominates gravel and rocky terrain near the sea, where it forms noisy and densely populated colonies, sometimes with over 100,000 individuals, that stretch over steep slopes and frozen platforms, always overlooking the cold waters that provide food. The chinstrap penguin's breeding season begins in the Antarctic summer, usually between November and March. When the coastal ice starts to melt, the pairs return to the same colonies year after year and build their nests with carefully selected small stones that males often offer females as a kind of gift, a symbolic and strategic gesture to win over the partner. The female usually lays 2 eggs, and both parents take turns incubating them for about 35 days after hatching. The chicks stay grouped in creches with other young, while the parents dive into the sea in search of food. They are excellent divers, reaching average depths of 160 to 330 feet, and can go as deep as 660 feet. They swim with agility and precision to catch their favorite food, Antarctic krill. They also eat small fish and squid, but krill is the basis of their diet. These penguins spend hours a day at sea and can swim dozens of miles per trip. Their ability to fish in groups, often synchronizing their dives, increases efficiency and reduces the risk of predators among the penguins. There is one that stands out as one of the fastest, most curious, and charismatic species of the frozen continent: the gentoo penguin. recognizable from a distance by its white patch on the head and its vibrant orange beak. The Gentoo stands out for its impressive underwater speed, reaching speeds up to 22 miles per hour, making it the fastest penguin on the planet. They mainly inhabit coastal areas with less ice, such as the Antarctic Peninsula, the Falkland Islands, South Georgia, and other sub-Antarctic islands where they build their colonies on rocky beaches, frozen tundras, and even grassy coasts. Their mating season, which starts between October and November, is similar to that of the chinstrap penguin, where males offer pebbles as gifts. The nests are simple piles of stacked stones, but play a crucial role in keeping the eggs away from the moisture of the frozen ground, with a stiff tail resembling a brush and a vibrant personality. The Antarctic penguins are true characters of the ice. When they want to communicate, they throw their heads back and emit a sound that echoes through the colonies, a booming trumpet-like call. So powerful, it's surprising coming from a bird barely 30 inches tall. This vocalization, used both for courtship and territory marking, is one of the most distinctive acoustic signatures among Antarctic penguins, another penguin species that thrives in the cold Antarctic environment is the Adelie penguin. Despite its gentle appearance and small size, it is known for its surprisingly aggressive and territorial temperament. When the breeding season begins, this behavior intensifies, turning the colonies into true miniature battlefields. It has a compact body, a white chest contrasting with black back, and a striking look with a white ring around the eyes. It seems always alert, like a watchful sentinel of the frozen continent, small compared to its relatives. It measures about 27 to 29 inches tall and weighs between 7 and 13 pounds. But don't be fooled. It compensates for its size with unbeatable energy, moving with agility both on land and on slippery ice. The Adelie penguin turns coastal regions of Antarctica into bustling colonies. During breeding, building nests with stones and fighting over them. It's common to see Adelies stealing stones from neighboring nests, and when caught in the act, they confront the owners in loud and persistent battles. This aggressiveness is not just about territory. It ensures the survival of the offspring in an extremely hostile environment. It is an agile hunter, diving up to 560 feet to catch fish and squid, facing predators like leopard seals and orcas in the frozen vastness of Antarctica. Our seals stand out as remarkable survivors of an extreme environment. They are part of the order Pinnipedia, which are marine mammals that include seals, sea lions, and walruses. Pinnipeds are descendants of terrestrial carnivorous mammals like bears and otters. They are mammals that have perfectly adapted to the aquatic environment but still depend on land to reproduce and molt. These animals can be considered amphibious because they alternate between two worlds: the land where they rest and reproduce, and the sea, where they search for food in Antarctica. Pinnipeds are divided into two main groups: the fur seals and the true seals. In the fur seal group, we have three species: Antarctic fur seal, subantarctic fur seal, and Kerguelen fur seal. Among the true seals are the feared leopard seal, Ross seal, Weddell seal, crab-eater seal, and elephant seal. These animals specialize in hunting fish and krill. But some species, like the leopard seal, stand out for their aggressiveness and ability to hunt even penguins in the water, fast and with powerful jaws. Leopard seals are feared in Antarctica. Despite physical similarities, Fur seals and true seals have many differences, both physiological and behavioral. Fur seals, for example, are more agile on land due to their more flexible limbs, while true seals, with bodies more adapted to the sea, drag themselves awkwardly on land and are much slower out of the water. Pinnipeds have a unique relationship with Antarctic ice, while some follow the edges of the ice, where the ice shelf retreats in summer and advances in winter. Other animals like the elephant seal and better withstand the presence of ice. Body size also influences pinniped habits. Seals, excellent divers, can explore areas with broken ice and dive through holes formed at the ice edge where they feed and return to the surface with an impressive diving capacity. Some seals can stay submerged for up to an hour, traveling long distances in search of food while always maintaining a vital connection with the icy environment around them. One of the most fascinating species inhabiting these cold waters is the Weddell seal, a true symbol of adaptability and endurance, known for its impressive diving ability. The Weddell seal can remain underwater for more than 80 minutes, a rare feat among marine mammals. It ventures over the thick ice layer, diving into the ocean depths to search for food like fish and small invertebrates, using its skills to navigate the cold, dark waters of Antarctica. What makes the Weddell seal even more remarkable is its ability to hunt on the ice, a crucial skill for its survival. Their bodies, covered by a thick layer of fat, ensure they stay warm even in the region's extreme temperatures. Furthermore, their flippers are perfectly adapted for swimming, making them excellent hunters in the icy waters. This seal stands out for its ability to make holes in the ice with its strong claws and teeth, creating openings used to breathe and stay at the surface. It is a solitary creature but can also be seen in groups during the breeding season. When females come close to shore to give birth, other seal species inhabit Antarctica, like the leopard seal, famous for its aggressive behavior and as a skilled predator hunting other marine mammals, including penguins. Each of these seals, with their unique adaptations, plays an essential role in the delicate Antarctic ecosystem, being crucial components of the food chain and in regulating the region's marine habitats. At the top of the marine food chain, where intelligence and adaptability meet, and with strength, is the orca, also known as the killer whale, one of the most formidable predators of the oceans. But despite being called whales, they are actually the largest species in the dolphin family. Orcas are extraordinary creatures, found in almost every sea on the planet, from tropical waters to the icy ends of Antarctica. Here they dominate the environment with an imposing presence as masters of the frozen waters. In the vast white, frozen expanse of Antarctica, orcas form social groups known as pods, made up of families that share more than just territory. They share hunting strategies, stories, and knowledge. The intelligence of orcas is fascinating, and they use it masterfully in their hunts. They are true strategists, often working together to overcome their prey, such as seals, penguins, and even large whales. One of the most impressive tactics they use to hunt seals is creating powerful waves, using the power of ocean currents to knock their prey off ice floes, taking them into the icy waters where they are more vulnerable. They are not only effective hunters, but also deeply social animals that form close bonds among themselves. Cooperation among them goes beyond hunting. Within their families, orcas share wisdom and experiences, passing survival tactics from one generation to the next. Orcas know that to survive in the vast ocean, unity is key. and each member of the group plays an essential role, whether as hunter, teacher, or protector. The world of these creatures is undoubtedly one of the most fascinating and complex in the marine kingdom, where intelligence, strength, and cooperation come together uniquely to conquer one of the planet's most challenging ecosystems. Despite being called killers and feared by humans in their natural habitat, attacks on humans are rare, and they usually swim calmly alongside boats. In the vast icy sky of Antarctica, where ocean currents meet the endless white snow, several birds stand out for their imposing presence. Among them, one species excels for its ability to cover at great distances. The albatross, these majestic birds, can be found in areas near Antarctica, especially in sub-Antarctic islands like South Georgia Islands, Kerguelen, and the Falkland Islands, remote and challenging places where their grace and endurance stand out. Albatrosses are impressive birds capable of flying thousands of miles without rest. Their long wings, adapted for continuous flight, allow them to glide for hours. Cutting through cold winds with impressive precision, they dominate the Antarctic Ocean, skillfully crossing the icy waters in search of food among the various species inhabiting this region. One stands out for its unique feature and striking behavior: the black-browed albatross. With its dark eyebrows cutting across its gaze, these birds are not only easily recognizable, but also known for their aggressive stance. Especially when competing for food, the black-browed albatross is not just a beautiful bird, but a true survivor of the planet's most remote regions when competing for resources with other seabirds. It displays assertive behavior, pushing the limits of the sub-Antarctic environment. With its strength and intelligence, its presence throughout the Antarctic Ocean is not only a wonder of nature, but a reminder of how life adapts and thrives, even in the harshest and most unforgiving conditions. Another bird also soars over the icy seas of Antarctica. The giant petrel is one of the most impressive seabirds in this ecosystem, known for its immense wingspan that can reach up to 2 feet, making it one of the birds with the largest wingspan in the world. With predatory behavior highly adapted to the cold environment, the giant petrel is an opportunistic hunter, feeding on fish, krill, and even carrion, such as seal and penguin carcasses. The bird is also known for stealing food from other marine species, including other petrels and albatrosses, displaying an aggressive and bold nature. Its habitat is mainly located on sub-Antarctic islands and the waters surrounding Antarctica, where they migrate during the breeding season. During breeding, giant petrels form colonies on rocky coasts and in hard-to-reach areas, building their nests in cavities or holes in the ground. Their robust body with thick feathers helps insulate them from the cold, and an incredible flying ability. They spend much of their life over the sea, traveling long distances in search of food, and their ability to plan long flights with minimal effort is vital for survival in the polar environment, besides their ability to fly for hours. The giant petrel is also an excellent diver, using its skills to catch prey below the surface. Its predatory behavior and adaptability to Antarctica's harsh climate make it one of the most fascinating and formidable birds of the frozen continent. Here exists a feared bird that is a fierce and bold predator. Known for its aggressive nature and opportunistic behavior, the skua stands out for being relentless in its hunting tactics. Although it also feeds on fish and krill, its predatory strategy involves attacking penguin eggs and chicks, becoming one of the biggest threats to juvenile populations of these birds in the region. The skua is particularly feared for its attack maneuvers, in which, using its great speed and flight agility, it invades penguin colonies, forcing them to abandon their eggs or chicks. It can even steal eggs directly from nests, or hunt the unprotected chicks that are more vulnerable. This bird, although it does not have the size of a large predator like seals or orcas, compensates with its aggressiveness, imprecise flying ability, and a highly efficient predatory instinct. Besides its predatory behavior, the skua also stands out for its nest built in rocky areas or on ice, always in hard-to-reach regions, which guarantees it some safety against other predators during the breeding season. The bird becomes even more territorial, fiercely defending its space and its chicks. This combination of hunting skills, endurance, and defensive instincts makes the skua a ruthless predator that has a significant impact on Antarctic penguin colonies. Antarctic marine life is rich in fish and crustaceans, but among all the creatures, one species stands out: the whale. This extreme environment of cold, icy waters offers a rich food source for whales that feed mainly on krill. There are several whale species that migrate to these cold waters. Among the whale species migrating through these icy seas are the blue whale, and the largest animal that has ever existed on the planet, the humpback, and the minke whale, which is the most adapted to the Arctic cold. Most of these animals are migratory, coming to these seas only in the warmer months to feed on the abundant krill. Of all the whales, the one that makes the longest migration, crossing all the oceans, is the humpback, which is why it is known as a cosmopolitan whale, meaning it is found worldwide. Humpbacks are famous for their complex and melodic song. They emit series of sounds and songs during the breeding season, and that can last from 15 to 20 minutes and are repeated for hours. These songs may have reproductive functions, such as attracting mates, and can also serve for social communication among whales. Interestingly, all the males in a humpback population in a given area sing the same song, which evolves over time, suggesting a shared sound culture. They are large whales, with adults reaching up to 52 feet in length and weighing about 30 to 40 tons. Their body is robust and bulky, with a wide, strong tail, which is one of their most distinctive features. Humpbacks have the underside of their body white or light-colored, while the upper part can be black or gray, with patterns of white spots, making each humpback whale unique, just like human fingerprints. One of the most striking features of humpbacks is their long pectoral fins, which can measure up to 16 feet in length, representing about 1/3 of their total body length. These long fins are unique among whales and give them great agility and maneuverability. While swimming, something uncommon among large whales. Despite the distance of approximately 12,000 miles between the Arctic and Antarctica, some species make journeys crossing both poles, traversing oceans in search of food, reproduction, and better climatic conditions. Whale routes from each pole do not cross because their migrations follow opposite cycles. But some subpopulations make impressive trips, like the Antarctic humpbacks that venture to the North Pacific, near Alaska, or cross the Atlantic Ocean, going from one end to the other, between Antarctica and tropical regions like the Caribbean Sea or Western Africa. During the polar summer, both in the north and south, humpbacks feed in waters rich in krill and fish, while in winter, they migrate to tropical waters to reproduce. They use an impressive hunting technique called bubble netting, forming groups and creating bubbles in the water to herd krill or small fish, facilitating the capture of these prey. This demonstrates cooperative social behavior among whales, which is uncommon among large cetaceans, revealing the complexity and intelligence of these magnificent creatures. During their hunts, it is common to observe various birds and seals, that take advantage of fish jumping out of the water in an impressive spectacle that stirs the entire ocean surface. Humpback whale females have a very strong maternal behavior. After a gestation period of about 11 months, they give birth to a single calf, which is fed with mother's milk until it is strong enough to swim and feed on its own. The mother and calf stay together in tropical waters during the first months of life, creating a close and vital bond. For the calf's survival, humpbacks are not only huge and powerful, but also extraordinarily intelligent and affectionate animals. They show exceptional care for their calves, forming strong family bonds. Their social behavior is equally remarkable, commonly seen in small groups, which, although few in number, reveal deep sociability and cooperation. These whales show a unique connection both with their species mates and with their surrounding environment, making them fascinating creatures, capable of moving those who have the privilege to observe them in their natural habitat, much smaller and more discreet. Another whale also inhabits these cold waters, the minke whale. It is one of the smallest and most agile in Antarctica, reaching up to 33 feet in length and weighing between 5 and 10 tons. They feed mainly on krill, using extremely effective filtering techniques. Despite their modest size, minke whales are extremely fast, capable of swimming at speeds of up to 31 miles per hour, which is impressive for a whale. They migrate between polar and temperate waters, following regular seasonal patterns for feeding and reproduction. Minke whale gestation lasts about 10 to 11 months, with the birth of a single calf. In warmer waters, reproduction occurs away from the dangers of the poles, while the krill-rich areas of Antarctica serve as their feeding grounds during the summer season. Although less known than their larger cousins, minkes play a crucial role in the Antarctic ecosystem, maintaining the delicate balance between predators and prey. Their agility and endurance demonstrate the incredible adaptability of marine life to extreme conditions. In these icy seas, an impressive creature moves with the calm of one who is not only the largest animal in the oceans, but the largest creature that ever lived on Earth, surpassing even the biggest dinosaurs. The blue whale is the giant of the seas, gliding through the waters with dimensions that defy imagination. Up to 98 feet long and 200 tons in weight, equivalent to 40 African elephants. Its heart is the size of a small car, and its tongue weighs as much as an entire elephant. A true and living colossus that inhabits the cold and tropical depths of our planet. Despite its colossal size, the blue whale feeds on the smallest creatures of the sea, krill. Every day it consumes up to 4 tons of these tiny crustaceans, filtering millions of them through its baleen plates. Blue whales spend most of their lives alone or in small groups, undertaking long migratory journeys between polar and tropical waters, traveling up to 427 miles per year, driven by survival instinct, the search for food, and the need to reproduce in warmer waters. Although imposing, these majestic creatures are extremely peaceful, preferring serenity and isolation. They rarely show aggression, navigating the vast oceans as silent guardians of an underwater world. Antarctica, with its icy seas and abundance of krill, is a vital refuge for these giants, but also a reminder of the fragility of their habitat in the face of environmental threats caused by human activity. Protecting these creatures is essential to maintain the balance of marine ecosystems and the health of the oceans themselves. This continent has already suffered greatly from human exploitation. Initially, The search was for animal riches. A. Seal skins were extremely valuable in European and North American markets. Between 1820 and 1827, more than 3 million seal skins were taken from the islands around the continent. It is estimated that 100,000 seal pups died annually due to the death of their mothers. Fur seals were nearly wiped out in the 19th century due to intensive hunting. An environmental tragedy that illustrates the devastating impact of unchecked exploitation on Antarctic wildlife. In the early 20th century, attention turned to hunted whales, mainly for the oil extracted from their blubber used as fuel for lighting the first whaling station in Antarctica. It was established in 1904 until 1993. About 2.3 million whales were hunted, resulting in a drastic population decline. Only 3% of humpback and 1% of blue whales survived. This alarming scenario motivated a global conservation movement, which culminated in the creation of treaties and marine protected areas essential for the recovery of these magnificent species. Fortunately, scientific interest in Antarctica began to grow in the 1930 seconds and 1940 seconds in 1882. The International Polar Year brought together several nations in scientific expeditions to the continent. The International Antarctic Institute was founded in Belgium, and the International Geography Congress encouraged scientific exploration of the region. Major expeditions like those of Roald Amundsen and Robert Scott between 1910 and 1912 marked a new era of discoveries. From then on, missions became more mechanized and organized, culminating in the first International Geophysical Year. In 1957 inches, 1959, the Antarctic Treaty was signed by 12 countries, establishing a milestone for peace and scientific cooperation. The treaty banned military and nuclear activities and allowed free access to the continent for research. To this day, 55 countries have signed this pact. Today, Antarctica represents one of the greatest examples of international collaboration, being one of the few ecosystems on the planet still preserved. This union of efforts shows that it is possible to protect entire regions in the name of science, the environment, and future generations, transforming Antarctica into a symbol of hope and global responsibility. Despite the advances, this land of ice faces serious challenges. Global warming impacts this region, alarmingly melting glaciers and reducing natural habitats, affecting the planet's climate balance. The Antarctic Peninsula is one of the fastest warming areas in the world, with an average increase of nearly 5 degrees Fahrenheit. In just 50 years, this accelerated warming led to the collapse of entire ice shelves, like Larsen B in 2002, evidencing the visible consequences of climate change and the urgent need for global actions to reverse this scenario. Glacier melting goes beyond visible ice loss. It directly impacts ocean levels and threatening millions of people in coastal areas. Furthermore, thawing releases methane trapped in permafrost, intensifying global warming. In a dangerous cycle, pollution is also a concern. Microplastics and persistent chemicals have even been found in the most remote places of Antarctica. These contaminants affect local fauna and flora, showing that human activity has reached even the planet's last wild refuges. Another challenge is the increase in Antarctic tourism and human presence at research stations, despite controls. Environmental impact is inevitable, leaving waste and affecting local wildlife. Native species, like penguins, suffer from changes in their migratory routes and food availability. Antarctica becomes a living warning of what happens when the planet is pushed to its limits, an environment once stable now struggles to maintain its balance amid increasing pressures, many of which. Antarctica becomes a living warning of what happens when the planet is pushed to its limits. An environment once stable now struggles to maintain its balance amid increasing pressures, many of which originate thousands of miles away. Despite the hardships, life in this extreme environment continues to thrive. Creatures like penguins and seals have adapted in remarkable ways, developing unique traits to survive. The giants of the seas, such as blue whales and humpbacks, continue their incredible migrations. Antarctica remains one of the planet's last natural sanctuaries, a refuge where nature still reigns free and wild. Here, humanity has chosen peace and science, keeping alive a fragment of purity and grandeur in a world increasingly changed by human activity. At this extreme, time seems frozen along with the ancient ice, guarding secrets of the past and hope for the future. Every ice block, every animal, every research station carries a powerful message. It is still possible to care for, preserve, and to respect what is greater than us. Antarctica is one of the last wild breaths of the Earth, perhaps the last mirror of what the world could be if we learn to protect instead of exploit. It is a call for collective responsibility to preserve this extraordinary ecosystem. Nature's resilience is a testament to the incredible capacity of living beings to evolve, reminding us of the vital importance of protecting these ecosystems. They are fundamental, not only for the species that inhabit them, but for global climate balance. If you've reached the end of this adventure, share this video with your friends and family. Leave your like and turn on notifications to follow our upcoming content. And in the comments, tell us what impressed you most about this frozen universe. Your participation is essential to us.